Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. There's a very good win for Jack Turner against an Argentinian, undefeated Argentinian called Nicolas Agustin Muguruza. I think his name was Muguruza. Like I say, Argentinian kid, 27 years old, came in with 11 wins, 6 by KO, no draws, no defeats. And in fact, Jack Turner also had 11 wins with 10 KOs, no draws, no defeats. He's only 23, Jack Turner. And this was a good win, 6th round KO. He floored Muguruza twice in the 6th round. First time was with a huge left hook that put Muguruza down. He got up wobbly, and then Jack went in with if memory serves, a left and a right that landed, and then maybe another left that missed. Or something. It was a combination anyway. Muguruza hit the floor again, got up, very, very brave, tough kid, tough lad. Hands up, ready to continue, blood all over his face, and the referee waved it off. It's a fair stoppage. But Muguruza, he brought something to the table. He did, because even though Turner looked, every inch the sort of high quality prospect, Muguruza, he didn't come to lose. He came to win. And Turner, his last fight was against Ryan Farag, which was a good 2nd round stoppage against a decent domestic level fighter. He's had most of his fights, because he's only had, this was his 12th fight. He's only had, learning fights against, for the most part, against journeyman. But he's learned the trade well. And he's only 23. He's a Liverpool lad from, what is he from? He's not from the Everton Triangle, is he? He's from Croxteth, I think. Don't quote me on that. But anyway, I was reading about him on BoxRec, I think, before I did this video. But yeah, he shows a lot of potential, and as usual, he's with Queensbury, so he'll be brought along well. He hasn't won a belt yet, but at 23, he's got plenty of time to go through the levels. Remember, we talk about the 6 levels: area, English, British, Commonwealth, European, world. Top of the tree is the world. Very good performance by Turner. He was busier than Muguruza. Fired a lot of punches, very high output. This was a 10-rounder. And Muguruza was in close. He was firing his own punches. He clipped Jack with a few. Jack, he wasn't hurt at all. And Muguruza, he was sort of second in the stakes. He'd land a putt. When it come to firing first and firing last, Turner probably had both of those in his pocket. He was the one that initiated the attacks, usually, and he was the one who was usually having the last say. But Muguruza was in it. He was putting pressure on. He wasn't running. He wasn't, there was no hint of him lacking desire, motivation, determination, all the rest. He was a worthy opponent, a very, very good step up for Turner. And Muguruza at 27 can come again. These were both orthodox fighters. Sometimes these Argentinians, they come over to Britain. I think Muguruza has never been out of Argentina before. But they come over to Britain and they surprise us. A bit like the Mexicans, Mexican lads as well. It's very, very difficult if you don't know much about a guy. He's an unknown quantity. And Turner seemed to be really on it. He seemed to. You can usually tell from the fighter's body language, his facial expression, the urgency of his work. He wasn't thinking, this is just an import with a glossy record who's just fought a load of nothings. Because if you look at Jack Turner's record and you didn't know anything about the British scene, you'd think, well, they're all journeymen. He's a paper prospect. Not a bit of it. This was a good matchup of 2 undefeated prospects. And the younger man, the 23-year-old, got it. But I think he's ready for certainly area level, maybe English level. Yeah, bring him along nice and slow, no hurry. He's got to live the life. He's got to mature up here as well as physically and in his work. Get that experience down, He's had this was his 11th KO in 12 fights, so he needs rounds. There is no substitute for rounds, none whatsoever. And in fact, lasting into the 6th round of this fight was his was the longest he's ever been. I think he's got 6 or 7 first-round knockouts on his record. 5 or 6 first-round knockouts. So that's, you know, you've got to be sensible about this. You can't force these young fighters, and you can ruin their careers by doing this, by, you know, pushing them too quick. But I don't think they will. I think Queensbury, Francis Warren might be his manager. Obviously, Frank Warren and George Warren is very, very good behind the scenes. I think they'll bring him on. This was, I think it was the chief support to the Jack Rafferty, Mark Chamberlain, British and Commonwealth super lightweight title fight. It was on DAZN. Go and have a look at it. Tell me what you think of Turner. Tell me how far you think he can go. I think he's a good prospect. All right, that's just a quick one for you. If you liked it, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, do all that good stuff. And we got videos for you virtually every day of the year, really. But leave your comments below. I like reading them. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. We've got the main event to come. Rafferty versus Chamberlain. Look out for a review of that, and I'll catch you later. Bye for now.